This is our group discussion by Luke and Alec.
Okay, so one of the three that we picked was Jainism, and basically the central tenet is nonviolence toward all living things. But what I'm trying to understand is why that some people would take it to the extreme of starving themselves to death and killing themselves. Because if their tenet is all nonviolence toward living things and preserving life, then why would they go to the extent to kill themselves? Maybe it's, I don't know, because...
Well, I think it's because of the social limits that Jainism has, is that it really focuses on benefiting the earth and living things around them. And so you give up the freedoms for yourself, but that's ultimately improving the community. But it's a really extreme way of doing it. It's pretty unrealistic, and it's just not going to be possible to be accomplished for everyone to be Jainist, because everyone would just starve, and although you would keep the earth in a good state, you would therefore be killing off your entire population. But with Daoism, it's completely different from it. It's where you're focusing on yourself, and if you can be a good person inside yourself, then you'll be able to help others. Whereas Jainism states that by helping others and helping the world around you, you'll be a better person within yourself, and you'll be able to get to the afterlife. So Daoism, I believe that Daoism is the most idealistic system out of the three we picked between Sophocles, Daoism, and Jainism, because it simply states that action through inaction is the way. If a person following Daoism lives their life at an average level, then nothing bad will happen. So Daoism just ultimately eliminates the risk of failure, and by simply being average, the society will not progress or retrogress.
But it also doesn't, because if no one progresses, you're assuming that everyone's gonna basically do their role. But if some people don't do their role, then the society won't progress. And if their role is just to be average and they don't do that, then actually the society will become worse and worse.
Yeah, but it's idealistic, because if everyone was to follow Daoism honestly, then it would be the perfect system, because nothing bad would ever happen, but then again, nothing good would ever happen. So you have to be able to give up that reward of being being the best. You're gonna have to give that up to keep everyone at the same level. And so that's a pretty big social limit for Daoism, because you're not allowed to compete with any other person, and so you're giving up the drive and how you want to be the best in order to succeed and not move the community forward, but keep everyone at the same level. Because if everyone is average, then nothing bad will happen. So yeah, Daoism is pretty idealistic. Alright, so let's talk about what Sophocles says. And Sophocles is, I think Alec would agree with this, is if it was to be implemented, it would work the best, because here's a quote from page 104 in our document. As for poverty, no one need be ashamed to admit it. The real shame is in not taking practical measures to escape from it. The worst thing is to rush into action before the consequences have been properly debated. And so Sophocles pretty much summarizes that in order to improve yourself, you have to look towards others in your community to improve your life. And once you can improve your life from within, you'll be able to help others around you.
Yeah, but unlike Daoism, Sophocles is encouraging people to progress themselves as well as other people, which therefore progresses the community.
Yeah. So I think that Daoism is idealistic, and what Sophocles says is realistic, where if you're struggling, others around you are encouraged to help you, and if you gain knowledge from others around you, the entire society will be able to progress.
Yeah, if you build up everybody around you can then help you, and then it just keeps building on itself, and then everybody progresses.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of the individual freedoms. So for Daoism, in order to follow the way of Daoism, you have to be unselfish. One must leave behind all individual desires and put the desires of the group before their own. And so some of the individual freedoms of Taoism is that you're going to be able to, live your life for the betterment of the group and not be selfish. You're going to have to live honestly and true to the way of Tao. And you should abandon your arrogant ways and countless desires, because they do not promote your welfare. What promotes your welfare in Taoism is the entire group living true.
Yeah, which in an idealistic system, being non-selfish would be obviously ideal, but people are fallible. They're not going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why this system's never going to work. And I don't know how many people still practice this today, but it's too idealistic. It's too perfect.
So would you say that Jainism is selfish because you're taking the life of a human in order to preserve the way of the earth, or would you say that it's like morally right because you're doing it for a religion?
I really don't know, honestly. I don't understand why they would take it to that extent if their tenet is love towards all living things, because if it's all living things, then it would be themselves too. Yeah. But if they're not killing, I don't know, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Okay, so another thing about Sophocles is that what we see in Jainism and Daoism is that there's more or less class systems, and you should stay at your own class. You shouldn't try and be above or below what you are, especially in Daoism. But what Sophocles says is that on 103, what counts is not the membership of a particular class, but the actual ability which the man possesses. And it also says, we live by democracy because power is in the hands not of a minority, but of the whole people. And so this basically states that if you live true and live how Sophocles wants, you'll be able to improve everyone in the community, and there won't be minorities because everyone will gain knowledge from everyone in the group, and therefore the entire group will have power. Like the whole of the group will be able to make decisions, and it won't just be a strong minority, like a high upper class ruling. It'll be everybody, because everyone will have knowledge of others because they're encouraged to share their knowledge with others when they're struggling. But Taoism, on the other hand, if you're supposed to stay in your lane and just be average, then nothing will get done, and all the power will be held by one person because he's being selfish and he's not looking to others around him. He's not looking to others because he's just trying to improve his own way and not the life of others. And so that's why Taoism would never work.